My next guest is finally going to be making her UFC debut coming up here at UFC Fight Island 8 on January 20th. It is Victoria Leonardo joining me here on the program yet again. Victoria, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, James?
I am doing awesome. It's so good to catch up with you. You know, we're kind of joking about this off air. I looked it up. The last interview you and I did was August 17th, 2018. Of course, that was before the first fight with Miranda Maverick. And I kind of wanted to start there where, you know, have you been able to soak this in now that you're a UFC fighter and that you've been able to just achieve this huge milestone in your career?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been hitting me in the last few days, you know, as we approach our, you know, getting ready to fly out here on Saturday. So, you know, it's hitting me, but it's also like, okay, you know, I've still got a job to do. So I'm just trying to stay focused on the fight and enjoy the journey.
Are you excited to go to Fight Island? I know some fighters are like, you know what, it's a lot of travel time, but at the same time, like, when are you going to go to Abu Dhabi, right? Like, that's kind of cool.
I know, it's pretty exciting. I'm pretty excited to check it off my bucket list. You know, I was inquiring on Instagram the other day because I believe that I'm the first Invicta fighter that did fight church. So for a while there in the pandemic, they had all their fights at this little church that we had previously done ceremonial weigh-ins in, but they had the actual cage there and did all the fights there so we could stay quarantined. I was like, I think I'm the first one to do Fight Church and Fight Island, so I just think it's pretty cool. If they want to name anything else fight, I'll go fight there.
And it was a cool way to get your UFC contract, right? Like, for those who don't remember, you were on Contender Series. You were very much counted out against Chelsea Hackett. I remember looking at the odds, and of course, this was supposed to be the next, you know, big thing as far as her getting in the UFC, and you went out there and you dominated her. I mean, it wasn't even close. Was that a little bit sweeter just knowing that people were counting you out and you ended up getting the win?
Absolutely. You know, I didn't want to know that stuff ahead of time, and it just, you know, played out where I ended up knowing what was going on and that I was not the favorite. And, you know, I saw kind of some of the stuff that people were saying, and it was pretty cool. The sweetest thing was getting messages from friends that put money on me.
I was just going to ask you about that. I bet a bunch of people want some money, right?
Yeah.
That's good. Did anyone take you out for dinner after? Because, you know, if they win money on your fight, that's the rule. They're supposed to take you out.
No, I mean, my husband did. He won money on my fight.
Well,
but,
there you go. That's good. At least someone did, right? So
a couple people offered to give me money, and I was like, no, that's okay.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, I guess during the pandemic anyway, it's a little bit tougher. But I think in general, if you bet on someone and you tell them that you won money, they should take you out for dinner. Not a regular dinner, like a nice steak dinner, something good, right? So that
I guess it depends on how much money they win.
That's true, for sure. Yeah, if you bet $1, then obviously not. Fair enough. I know, obviously, for your debut here, a bit of a switch-up in opponent. Did that mean much of a switch-up in camp, or I guess you're one of those fighters, you just stay ready for whoever?
I'm definitely one of those fighters that stay ready. I mean, it's not a whole heck of a lot of time between, you know, my Contender Series fight, and there wasn't a whole lot of time between my last Invicta fight and the Contender Series fight. So I've just been in you know, fight camp after fight camp. So, you know, condition-wise and strength-wise, I feel really good. The girl that I was going to face is a little bit different, but, you know, she switched back and forth stances, but seemed to like, I guess, southpaw a little bit more. So I was kind of already training for a southpaw. So, you know, I feel like I stay ready for just about anything. We were working, you know, wrestling and all that stuff ahead of the first opponent, and, you know, we were like, okay, well, this girl seems to be a little bit better wrestler. We've been working wrestling anyway, you know, so we just keep working everything.
How do you feel like you match up against your opponent? 5-1 record, you know, pretty solid. What do you know about her in terms of the matchup?
I know that she looks to be pretty strong. You know, I see a lot of these girls that they definitely have the strength advantage, and then, you know, I've never felt like particularly weak against any of my opponents, so that doesn't really bother me. But I see that, and I'm like, okay, they're strong. They should be strong at this level. They should be strong. They should be athletic. She seems to be a kind of a Wonder Boy-esque fighter. She kind of, you know, stands back and pops people on the way in. She's got a great side kick, which I think is going to be interesting because I utilize the side kick a lot as well. Obviously, she's a southpaw. She has decent wrestling. You know, she's going to mix it up, and I think that it's going to be a good fight. I think I stand up well against her, though.
Training camp, who have you got to work with this time around helping you get ready for this debut?
Well, so Andrea had a fight coming up, and
broken nose. Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, she has a broken nose, so we really haven't been able to spar because, you know, her nose is still healing. But I've got a training partner that comes in from Longview that she's going to debut as a professional. She's a 135er, so we've been working a lot. And then, you know, just my regular coaches and stuff. Nobody too special that I've been working with, but, you know, we've made it this far with these people, so, you know, I don't feel like I have to change it up too much to keep doing what I'm doing.
If it ain't broken, don't try and fix it, right? That's, you know, sort of the motto, right? If it's working for you, you might as well keep with it. Let me ask you this. You mentioned Andrea Lee. Obviously, she's had a number of UFC fights under her belt. She's also done a lot of traveling when it comes to fights. Did she give you any advice or any insight, you know, in terms of what to expect, you know, heading over to Fight Island and having the debut? I mean, she's had it as well, so she knows all about the jitters and all that other stuff.
Yeah, she was able to talk to me a little bit. She kind of mentioned that I think when she went, it was like, you know, they were in the very beginning stages of doing Fight Island, so I think they didn't like have an air conditioner or something.
Right, yeah, it was a little bit not as refined,
a little bit different. I actually got some packing tips. I put on my Instagram today that I was packing, and I actually got some packing tips from Miranda Maverick, who was like, hey,
nice.
They wash their clothes all the time. You may not need to pack as much as you think, because I definitely didn't use all the stuff that I packed, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I just think it's neat that we're able to just kind of, you know, all talk to each other, whether we fought or may fight. We you know, we can be friends outside of the cage.
Of course. No, that's cool. How about the weight cut? Does that get altered at all because of the travel time?
I think they're giving me enough time, you know, to get there and get settled in before I'm going to really start, you know, feeling the cut. So I'm really not worried about it. I think it's going to go good.
Who's going to be in your corner for this fight?
Same as last time. I've got my husband, Brent Mason, and I've got my boxing coach, Blake Franklin, coming with us.
Nice. That's good. And how's this fight playing out? How do you see it unfolding on January 20th?
I'm super bad at this, but, I mean, I'm definitely going to, you know, the fight starts standing, so I'm always going to see where I feel like I, you know, fall in the stand-up. I'm just going to see what she gives me and look for openings. I mean, nobody doesn't know that I like to take people down and wrestle, you know. So if I see those openings for a takedown, I'm going to take them because that's where I feel the strongest, and I'm going to see what she feels like on the ground. So, you know, it could be a quick night, but it could go all the way. I won't know until I get to feel her strengths in the cage. I
imagine the plan is to try and keep as active as you can, or just sort of see how this fight goes. Probably not doing Fight Island all the time because that's a lot of travel, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I'd like to see, you know, how this fight goes. My birthday's in February. I'd like to pig out and enjoy my birthday a little bit. And then, you know, I like to stay active. So March, April, whenever they want to give me another fight, you know, I'm not getting any younger. So let's do this.
And downtime right now, I know you probably don't get much of it because you're training, getting ready for this fight, but are you watching any Netflix or doing anything? Maybe going for like a hike or something? I don't know.
The latest season of Cobra Kai.
Oh, everyone's watching that. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, it is. I was kind of late to get into it, but because I thought it was going to be stupid. And then once I watched it, I was like, this is actually pretty good. Now, you know, I could sit there and critique the fight scenes all day, but, you know, I don't expect them, you know, Hollywood has their view of how to film fights, and it works and it looks good. So
yeah, it kind of ruins it if you kind of nitpick it a little bit. Like I remember, like I mean, I live in Canada and hockey's huge, right? So when you watch the Mighty Ducks, there's a lot of things in that movie that just don't make sense. Like the flying V's offside. Like there's a lot of things in that you just, yeah, it just kind of ruins it. So I just tend to just leave that stuff out. If I'm watching a movie, just take it for what it is, right?
Yeah.
So there you go.
Exactly.
Victoria, thanks so much for the time. I'm really looking forward to your debut. It is January 20th, UFC Fight Island 8. Anyone you want to thank? Any sponsors? Any social media? I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, as always, I'd like to thank my sponsors in Shreveport, Mike Tilton's Plumbing. I always forget everybody, but you guys know who you are.
And you post it on your social media, right? So there you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for the support. My hometown, y'all have been huge in supporting me, and I wouldn't be able to get this far not without, you know, my coaches, my training partners, my friends and fans. I appreciate all of you. Thank you.